So normally I don't really do painting videos. I don't consider myself someone you should learn from painting wise just yet. But sometimes I'm in the process of a paint job and I'm thinking, hey, that's pretty smart. Looks pretty good. And in this case I'm talking about this Volcus terrain that came in the Hivestorm Kill Team box. And like promised in the title, it is easy, cheap and quick. So let's start with the first of those three promises. Cheap. People might curse me for this, but I use discount store primers for the terrain. I used all kinds of spray can primers in the past, and I had a hard time seeing the difference. I think the way you store your cans and the climate has a much bigger effect on the amount of money that you spend on it. So what else do we need? I use some Citadel metallics, a gold for the trim and a silver for the several metal details. For the door I use this Kroxigor Scale Citadel contrast paint. And then some of the basics, so maybe get yourself a black paint as well. I have some Skill 75 instant paints that I really like for this. But I'd say the most important thing if you want to recreate this paint scheme is Streaking Grime by AK Interactive. And now before I continue, this is going to be a weird one to explain. I have two AK Interactive streaking products. I thought I was using Streaking Grime while I was using Rust Streaks. So anything I do in this tutorial and what I've been saying on my Discord, I was actually using Rust Streaks. I'm going to refer to the Streaking Grime or the Rust Streaks as streaking products now. The Streaking Grime is kind of green, the Rust Streaks are kind of red. I think that is the only difference. Now with the streaking products, you'll also need something to clean them up with. I have an AK Interactive White Spirit, but I think you can do with any of the cheaper products as well. Now let's get back to those streaking products when I'm actually working on them in the video. Some additional stuff, the cheapest brush you can find, it's likely to be destroyed afterwards. Some paper towels and some cotton sticks are very handy with the White Spirit. And now for the easy part, because easy it is, the first thing to do is prime your terrain black. Make sure you get good coverage, also on the underside of the terrain, even though nobody's ever going to notice it. But don't overdo it. The terrain has some nice details, so be gentle with the spray cans. Now you'll take your white primer and spray somewhat of a gradient with the highest intensity at the top and little to no coverage on the bottom. And this is of course all depending on how bright you want things to be. We want the bottom to be dirty, as if it stood in the 41st millennium where there is only war. And if you think it is too bright, do not worry. The streaking products will likely take care of that in a bit. Now for the most time consuming part, the details. Paint everything however you want it to be. I roughly follow the box art for the Hivestorm box since I really like how this looks. I start with the gold trims around the entire piece, and do note that this also comes back on the inside of the terrain. The doors have the same gold trim and so do some of the windows. The doors are a bright turquoise/green color and I like them a lot. A single coat of Kroxigor Scale did the trick for me. For the Mechanicus logo I leave the white primer and just paint black on top of it and then do some metallics on the inside. Next up is the metallic pipes around on the walls. I decided on a metallic, but any color will do. I use an instant color black by Skill 75 for these floor pieces and the window bars, and you might need a couple of layers for these. And now for the magic and somewhat confusing product that I talked about before. This specific one is a Rust Streaks, not Streaking Grime.
Grimdark in a bottle.
I use the streaking products for vehicles a lot, and I also dipped my Tech Priest into it. Now you want to be very careful. No, I'm just kidding. Just slap this stuff on, especially on the bottom. It does tint whatever is underneath a little bit, but that is what I'm going for. If you think it's too much, clean it up with a paper towel or the cotton buds. The great thing with these streaking products is that they're enamels and that you can kind of reactivate them after it's dry. We use the white spirits for these, but do be careful with this one. Don't push the paper towel or the cotton buds on too hard. It is not necessary and you can easily damage the paint that is underneath, leaving you with the gray plastic we started with. I think the streaking products look amazing on the gold trim and the Mechanicus logo, and you can basically call it a day for the terrain. And that is what we're going to do. I am pretty happy with this, and since I promised it to be quick, the third promise, it is good to mention that the entire process took about 3 hours in total. I could work on some additional details. I maybe want to do a little bit of OSL here and there, but overall I'm pretty happy with how this looks. For now, I hope this video was useful to some of you at least. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.